Hello everyone. Today is a very much of an end of the year perfume video. I'm quite excited, mostly because this is a way for me to tally up what I bought in terms of perfumes this year. And out of the stuff that I bought, what I really liked and what I thought were kind of duds. And both are present and will be revealed, all will be revealed in this video. Definitely, I will be doing also a year roundup of the fragrances that I finished up in the year 2019. And certainly, I do believe I finished up a lot more than I purchased, which is the name of the game here. This is what I'm after. I do want to shrink my perfume wardrobe to something that is very personal, very me, very edited. Currently, of course, that is never going to happen. I'm never going to have a minimalist collection of fragrances. I think I'm okay with it. I think I can live with it. I think I can accept it because there's just no way it can be any different because it is my passion. It is my, it's my hobby. I definitely love many things in my life. Fragrances is one of those indulgent, luxurious hobbies that I allow myself to have. So the idea is to use up more than I purchase, and I think I have been successful this year in that. I haven't counted up my used up fragrances, so still wait and see what we have in there in terms of the fragrances that I finished off this year. So that'll be a separate video. Today we're going to talk about the fragrances that I did purchase, and starting with the ones that I actually think are fantastic. Being a positive person, a relatively positive person, I do want to start with the wins. In total, I purchased 7 fragrances this year. One of them is a body spray, but I do count it as a fragrance kind of purchase. So this is going to be in somewhat of a chronological order, starting with the stuff I liked, and then we'll move on to the 2 fragrances that I think were duds. Let's start with the wins. These are excellent purchases that I'm very, very happy I made. The first fragrance that I purchased last winter and used very briefly, because for me this is an all-year fragrance, but then I purchased it at the end of winter, and then during springtime I was really drawn towards florals, so this kind of took the back seat. But this is Eau de Ma Vie, Eau de Toilette from Hermes. So this little guy has been on my radar for a long time. I've used up multiple minis of it, so I was actually very well prepared to purchase it, and I knew it was going to be a win. That was not a surprise. This is how I prefer to approach my fragrance selections. However, you will see that most of the fragrances I buy are impulse purchases because I like to listen to my gut, and most of the time it does not lead me astray. This fragrance, however, has been a long process. For a couple of years at least, I've used up a few minis, and I really honed in on my love for this guy. Why did it take me so long to purchase? I was floating between the Eau de Parfum and the Eau de Toilette. 90 times out of 100, I will pick an Eau de Parfum in most fragrances. I am surprised at myself that I ended up with the Eau de Toilette instead of the Eau de Parfum in this particular iteration of the Eau de Ma Vie. There are many flankers. They're fabulous, and in the future I see myself definitely going for flankers of this particular fragrance. I think Eau de Parfum came out first, so technically this is also a flanker, I suppose, Eau de Toilette. And this is wonderful. It is easy, it is breezy, it is extremely comforting at the same time. It is one of those fragrances that does not have a purpose. It's like multi-purpose. You can wear it to anywhere. It does not scream any particular location, does not scream any particular time of the year. This is for those people who want to pick one signature fragrance and wear it at all times for all occasions. This would be one of those types of fragrances. It's effervescent. It's almost fizzy and textural, but also drying down into something a bit more powdery and grounded with amber undertones. It's very beautiful, very elegant, very unique. It is not one of those scents that you're going to smell left and right for sure. So nobody's going to hate this scent, but I don't think that it is not appealing, universally appealing enough that everybody will be just like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever, because it is a very elegant scent, constructed for a very specific audience. That audience probably does not like sugar. That audience probably does not like edible, realistic gourmands. That audience is probably a little bit older and a little bit more wealthy. This is the kind of audience they're after, and I think they capture it very well. Again, Hermes is that kind of a fragrance house. They are positioning themselves as a luxury niche brand that is a little bit separate from all the rest of the luxury brands that honestly had sold out and are following trends and not really thinking about being creative or interesting. This fragrance is both creative and interesting, and I'm very, very happy to have it in my fragrance wardrobe. Moreover, it is gorgeous in terms of presentation. Of course, it's just beautifully presented. It has this star design on the back, printed on the back of it. It doesn't rub off. It's extremely beautiful. The scent is extremely beautiful. There is such an understated elegance about it that it makes me really happy to own it. And I know it will definitely be worn and will not go to waste. In fact, today I'm wearing that particular fragrance. Now, this is kind of the guy that kicked the Eau de Marvie off, out of the rotation, or I should say off of my vanity and into the drawer for storage for now. This is a spring fragrance. There's no way I can wear this fragrance anytime apart from spring, as opposed to Eau de Marvie, which is like a seasonless scent. This one is definitely a spring scent for me. This is Erin Lilac Path at the Parfum. Beautiful presentation again. Looks like a little pink quartz over here. It's very classic looking. It's gorgeously constructed. And the scent itself is ingenious. What they did here, of course, Lilac Path, that gives it away. But what they did here is basically alliteration of lilacs. Living, breathing, juicy, blooming, fleshy lilacs. This is what you get in here. Nothing else. That's it. Soliflor, one note fragrance. Say whatever you want. It is beautiful. If you love the smell of lilacs and you were looking for a perfume to represent this for you, and lilacs are very spring flower, at least where I live it is. I'm pretty sure anywhere it is a spring bloom. It is just, Lilac Path is just fabulously constructed. It's an extremely realistic interpretation. It's not an interpretation. This is like they bottled authentic lilacs. So if you're a fan of that, and if that sounds interesting to you, I think you will love this. You will find this particular fragrance extremely appealing. You will find it ingeniously created. It lasts pretty well. It wears in a very linear way. So, you know, what you see is what you get. You're expecting lilacs. You're getting lilacs the whole way through. They become fainter, but every step of the way, they're realistic and beautiful and fleshy and just happy. So Lilac Path was an awesome find, and because it was just so weather appropriate, it definitely became my go-to for last spring. You see that I started denting it a bit last spring, and I'm sure this coming spring I'm gonna wear it into the ground. I know I will. I love it. It really is close to my heart. I'm super happy with my purchase. The next one I bought was actually a body spray. I hate the packaging of this guy. I don't know where to start. However, the scent inside is for a specific kind of a clientele as well. Body spray, no lasting power, very little lasting power, but it's such a pleasant scent that I absolutely loved it, and I knew I would, because this is Rose Jam by Lush body spray, so they don't advertise it as anything except for body spray. That's precisely what it is. Now, if you know, they're a Rose Jam fragrance line, so they have this particular fragrance mix that they put always into a variety of their products. So they're bath bombs that smell like Rose Jam, and they release them seasonally. I have a huge tub of shower gel that is a Rose Jam. They release it periodically. It gets swept off the shelves very quickly. They have like a massage bar that is this scent that I own and had been repurchasing for years now. And they had released their body spray Rose Jam. And of course, I could not go for it because this is my absolute favorite scent out of the whole Lush variety of scents, and they have a lot of different body care scents, and this is my favorite body care scent from Lush. It is what they are suggesting, a jammy rose scent. Sweet, jammy rose. If you've tried maybe strawberry rose preserves with rose leaves, like this is what it smells like. And it's very lightweight, it's cute. If you are in an environment where you're in close proximity to people and scent wearing is really frowned upon, spraying this half an hour beforehand is not going to leave anybody with questions. It just will very faintly smell of beautiful, delicious body care. So loving it. I really hate the packaging, but for me, this is such a win. I'm so happy they came out with this fragrance, because personally, that's my absolute favorite from their entire selection of fragrances. The next purchase throughout the year that I went for was this guy. This is Narciso Rodriguez Narciso Rouge. So there are a couple of lines that I'm religiously buying from Narciso Rodriguez. It's the Her line, or For Her line, and the Narciso, the cubes, the infamous or famous cubes. I have 3 of them at this point. I have the white cube, I have Eau de Parfum, I have the black cube Eau de Toilette, and I have the Rouge. Yeah, that's also an Eau de Parfum. They did release a companion scent just very, very recently, which is this, but Eau de Toilette. This is Eau de Parfum. They released an Eau de Toilette. I am super curious. I'm thinking to myself, like, should I get it? I think I should get it. Should I get it? I have to go and try it. I have to figure for myself whether I am going to be wearing the Eau de Toilette over the Eau de Parfum, whether it's worth having both. Are they the same scent, just in lesser dilution? Probably not. I am breaking my head about it. I wish I had it on hand to wear and make that decision, but I don't have a mini, so I have no idea what the Eau de Toilette smells like. Eau de Parfum, however, is, you know, a very beautiful standard Narciso Rodriguez musk, which I've drummed up for like years now. It's my favorite musk that anybody ever produced. So Narciso Rodriguez musks are the best, I think, if you like musks. And this one has a fleshy, really beefy rose to it, very red. So yeah, really appropriate in terms of branding. They know what they're doing. I was absolutely not surprised, because it's very rare that I kind of have questionable reaction to a Narciso Rodriguez fragrance. The Poudre or Poudre, the pink one out of this lineup, is the only one out of this entire lineup that I was like, and I haven't purchased still. I'm still thinking about it. It's not a turnoff, it's just too sweet of a powder. It's just a little bit too sweet. Narciso Rodriguez don't usually do these very sweet fragrances that kind of get to you over time. That kind of is one of those, I think. I need to keep trying it, because oftentimes my scent perception will change and shift, and sometimes fragrances that have been not good for me previously become good for me, and vice versa. So I will keep trying Poudre. The red one, the Rouge, it's great. It's fantastic. If you like a beefy rose on a milky, musky base, this one's for you. It is definitely for me. Then the last one is also a Narciso Rodriguez find, and oh my goodness, I'm having so much difficulty talking about this particular guy, and this is Pure Musk, Narciso Rodriguez For Her. So it's from the other Narciso line that they're continuously expanding, not the little cubes, but this shaped bottles. And you probably know the pink one For Her, the Eau de Parfum, the black aubergine one, Eau de Toilette For Her. They have such a big variety. There are so many flankers there. It's just, there's a lot going on. And this Pure Musk is a super interesting twist on the musky floral. The whole line For Her is musky florals. That's what you're looking at when you're going for that line. Actually, that's what you're looking at when you're going for whichever fragrance from Narciso Rodriguez you're eyeballing. It's always a floral musk. Different iterations of floral musk, different playtime of floral musk, different flowers in floral musk, but it is basically, that's the genre they were working with. If you're not a fan of them, you won't like any of them. If you are a fan of them, you'll probably like a lot of them, like myself. Let's get back to this guy over here. So, Pure Musk. This, fortunately or unfortunately, is going to be a very poor description, because it is an absolutely literal interpretation, duplicate of something that was striking me as my favorite thing in my childhood. maybe I was 4 or 5 years old. At the time, I remember my dad went to Germany for a work trip, and he brought back to me my very first, and I think only, Barbie doll. No, not only. I had another Barbie doll after that. But that was my very first and very favorite, very special Barbie doll. They weren't available where I was living, in the country I was living at the time. Really, like, the authentic ones were really hard to come by. He brought this authentic Barbie doll, and that authentic Barbie doll had a tiny little bottle of perfume in the package with her. She was, you know how there's like Barbie doll and a dog, Barbie doll and hair accessories. This one was Barbie doll and a bottle of perfume. And I swear that was my very first and very emotional encounter with a fragrance, which probably determined a lot in terms of my love for fragrances going forward in my life. I'm not sure if that little tiny bottle of perfume was not given to that 4 or 5-year-old, my very own, or my Barbie's perfume, but it was my very own. And if it wasn't given to me at that point, and it didn't create such a saturated, vivid memory, fragrance memory in my head, I don't know if I would be the same level of freak obsessing with fragrances now. So I'm not sure what kind of role it played in my development in terms of my fragrance obsessions and fragrance craziness. But, you know, possibly it played a very big role. Maybe. So this smells precisely and exactly to the T like that Barbie fragrance that I had. Here we have a very nice Musks, and hey, I had good taste as a 4-year-old apparently in fragrances. I swear it was like a tiny bottle like this, and I used that tiny little bottle for sniffing it somewhere in the corner. In the corner of my room. I just like secretly sniff it, and I swear it lasted me in that sniffing capacity for like 2 years. It was incredible. Because I would never use it. I was just always going to just smell that little stem. I would unplug the little stem and I would smell it, because it wasn't one of those that was sprayable. It was a dabber. So I would unplug the little cap and just sit there and smell it for like 10 minutes on end. Well, that's sort of a weird thing to do for a 4 or 5-year-old. So, okay, I am so tangential today about my memories, or fragrance-associated memories. So Pure Musk is that. It is the Narciso musk, but light and breezy. Most of Narciso Rodriguez musks, and this is one of them definitely, but most of them are on the milkier, denser bodycon side. This is a bit cleaner and bubblier. So it's a bubbly, fresh musk, still very Narciso, still definitely in that family of musks, but lightified and trimmed up and very, very effervescent. We're having a frenzy of realistic spring florals here. There is a hefty dose of peony, what I think is peony, floating around, and it's just delightful. It's very floral. Some of them are more musky than floral. This one is definitely more floral than musky, very heavily leaning floral. So if you do like a very fresh spring, beautifully constructed floral in a musk base, that would be really for you. Another thing is, Narciso Rodriguez fragrances are very popular. Moreover, they're so popular that kind of plays to their disadvantage, much the same way that Chanel fragrances have. They have the same problem. They're so popular and so beautiful that they do have a very wide consumer base, and then everybody kind of smells the same. There's no chance in my mind that this fragrance is going to reach the status of for her pink, even for her black, even for her white cube, the Narciso white cube. This one will never reach that status. This will continue being quite unique. I'm not sure if it's a limited edition release. I don't think so, but it could be. And I have got to say, this is not going to be for everybody. This is going to be for those of you who love fresh florals, and if you do, this one is a jam. But that genre of fragrances right now is not extremely popular. There's no way that a lot of people will smell like this. So if you like being unique and you like smelling like your own thing, Narciso Rodriguez for her, Pure Musk. Test it out and see how you feel about it. I wouldn't advise you buy this blindly because it is one of those fragrances that is an excellent representative of its own genre, but that genre right now is just kind of not in extreme amount of favor. Like, it's not a favorite currently. The trends are not going that way. I'm so happy they released it. I hate going along with the trends. I do like looking at what's the next best thing. What is the next interesting twist? What is the next cool release? And trends bore me and disinterest me completely in the releases. So I'm so happy this is going against the grain, and it's beautiful and it's well done. And I do recommend it if you like that genre. Let's get to the duds. So these are all of my winners. I love all of them. I think they're fabulous purchases. I think they have longevity in my fragrance wardrobe. I'm very happy with them. No questions asked. Good job, me. Love those picks. Now, the next two were duds. So, I mean, 5-2 is not bad odds. I would like for those odds to be better because I know my nose is better than that. I don't know what happened with this guy. I bought it in the summer, and in the summer, I loved wearing it for like a month. It was all I wore for like a straight month, and then I wore it more, of course, but not as frequently as I wore it that 1 month. I was obsessed with this scent for a very short period of time. It was definitely an affair and not a relationship, and I regret buying it because well, blah. That's why. I think it's blah. This is Bottega Veneta Illusion. I went for a 5-day mini break with my husband to Montreal to visit some friends. My husband had some business to take care of, and I wanted to do some shopping and catching up and all the good stuff. So one of the things that I do in Montreal whenever I go is go to galleries and shop for art, and go to perfume boutiques because there are plenty of them there, and I shop for fragrances. This was the only one I picked up on that trip, and I'm so sorry to say this kinda sorta sucks for me. Now, I don't think the fragrance itself is a bad fragrance. In contrast to the other one I will be talking about, it's actually constructed decently well. I am a big fan of Bottega Veneta. I am. And this is a Bottega Veneta fragrance. I like the fragrances. I like their aesthetic. I own shoes and bags by them, and I adore their whole very classic Italian luxury branding, all of it. I love all of it. I think Bottega Veneta do fantastic branding and marketing, and they don't release too much. They are a tasteful fragrance house, and they're a tasteful fashion house. Not so sure that this is a release that I would want associated with Bottega Veneta. If I was Bottega Veneta, this is an off-brand for me. I think this could be released maybe by Yves Saint Laurent, because Yves Saint Laurent really went down with their releases in the last few years. Currently, this scent would fit into their lineup, I think. Bottega Veneta, I did not expect this. I'm not sure what happened. My brain just rebelled against me and loved this scent, but very briefly. And then once I really understood it, I was like, what the hell are you doing? Like, this is really not that cool. It's not interesting. It's not well constructed as you would expect from Bottega Veneta. This is like a sheepish YSL release. I love YSL, but the old school YSL, the newer releases over the last maybe 3 to 4 years are super boring. Oh my god. Starting with the new opium, which is not a bad fragrance by itself, but no, I'm so sorry they went that way. What a disappointment. I'm scared that Bottega Veneta are going that way too. This unnerves me. I don't like it. What is going on here? This is a figgy, sweet floral, which by itself is not a bad thing. And there is a certain elegance to it. Bottega Veneta wouldn't release crap. It's not crap. It's a decent fragrance, but it is very figgy, very fruity, and quite sweet. There is a little bit of a soft, gentle powderiness that is lurking in the background that is definitely elevating to this fragrance, and I respect the construction of that particular aspect of it. It's pretty. So, I think it's a bit confused in its own right, but it's not bad. It isn't exactly me. It's too sweet of a fig for me. I like fruit, but I like fruit with some kind of juxtaposition of something else, a little bit too sugary. However, I do see that being a fragrance that people do enjoy. If you like figs with flowers, this is really quite good. I think I'll finish it off. I do appreciate it. It's not a horrible scent. Not quite my cup of tea at that particular moment. Construction is decent, really off-brand for Bottega Veneta in my opinion. However, you know, whatever, they're trying to branch out into the mainstream, trendy stream of releases. Guys, if you Bottega Veneta wouldn't want to be blah, and if you want to get lost in the sea of these kinds of releases, go for it. I think it's silly of you. This one is far more disappointing. And I did recently speak about it because it is a pretty recent purchase. I think I bought it in October. So it's been with me for 2 months. I've worn a decent amount of it. I really wanted to give it a shot. I wanted to give it a chance. I wanted to love it. There is no fragrance that I'm looking to criticize, ever. I'm not buying things to pick them apart. I'm buying things because I want to love them. I want to love them. I want to use them. I want to be in awe. I want my olfactory senses to have consistent like pleasure signals into my brain from smelling these wonderful perfumes. This fragrance is a liar to me. Again, this is of course all subjective, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people would probably have the same reaction to it as I did. This is a liar. First of all, it calls itself eau de parfum, which it is not. It is not an eau de parfum. It is like body spray quality fragrance. Not long lasting at all. So eau de parfum, haha, very funny. Whoever came up with that joke, joke's on us, clearly. Herb, interesting concept. I was super looking forward to wearing this because in my mind, and from smelling it, from samples, from smelling it in the store, what it does is creates a very happy, bubbly, girly mood. That's what it does, and that's what I wanted. That's what I want. I was hoping this is what this fragrance was going to do. I was counting on it to do that particular thing. Make a girl out of me. That's what I want. Please give me that. Sometimes I'm just in the mood to be silly and funny and bubbly. 50s diner, maybe strawberry milkshake. That's what I was getting out of it, and that's what I wanted. However, although this 50 diner strawberry milkshake vibe is definitely there, after 20 minutes of wear, it just dissipates. It leaves. The fragrance falls apart. The construction is so poor, it disintegrates on my skin, and I've given it enough of a chance. My goodness, I wore it on skin, on hair, on clothes. I wore it on dry skin, on moisturized skin. Like, I gave it a go. I wanted it to work. I wanted that strawberry milkshake goodness to not leave me within the first, half hour of me wearing it. I wanted it to stay. And I was hoping I could make it work, but I couldn't. That construction is so gosh darn poor on this guy that the fragrance just could not hold itself together. The notes just disintegrated. The top absolutely evaporated and disappeared almost immediately. What you're left with pretty soon after application is a little bit of powderiness, woody, musky base, and a very interesting, weird cigarette smell. And not in a good way. You know, sometimes you're like, oh, tobacco undertones. Oh, how picante. Let's do this. Not here. Here we do not have a picante, tobacco, interesting, oh, so sophisticated undertones. This is an 18-year-old who's still living at home, who's smoking and hiding it from her parents, so she pops a bubble gum to try and cover it up, and that's the result. So this is what you're left with, unfortunately. That gorgeous milkshake or strawberry milkshake quality that is there disintegrates into cheap cigarettes and bubblegum. That's what you get. Boo-hoo. Even that dissipates pretty soon after, and what you're left with is like a powdery, woody, slightly floral musk. It's kind of blah. Nothing special or interesting about it, and I was bummed. Let me tell you guys, I was so bummed. It disappointed me to no end. I really was looking for something else. I was looking for what that fragrance smells like on application. And then I wanted it to maybe morph into something similar, but like stay with the story. Stick with the story, man. Like, don't just fall apart and dissolve into nothingness around me. This is so sad. I was pissed, I was sad, I was upset, I'm over it. I don't even know what I'm going to do with it, honestly. Like, I don't want to even waste a perfume wearing day on it. It's probably going to be one of those things that I throw in my bathroom and use as a like refresher for, I don't know, when I'm home and hanging out or doing laundry. Like, I don't know. Even that is a little too exciting for this kind of fragrance. I feel like I would have more fun wearing basically anything else. Because the longevity is so poor, I guess the good thing is you can wear it in very close proximity or in places where you shouldn't be wearing fragrance or much fragrance, because this doesn't stay, therefore it's not going to smell like anything. I'm really stretching for the positives here, guys. I really am. Yeah, nothing else to say, like boo. Sad, sad story. That's it. We have 5 wins, 2 losses. Well, maybe 1 total loss and 1 kind of like, I wish I had something else instead of this one. But that's kind of where we are sitting. I'm really looking forward to telling you which fragrances I absolutely used up this year. I've saved them and I want to talk about them. And it's shocking to me how many of them I'm not going to repurchase. I'm not really missing, and I'm not interested in ever smelling again. It's so interesting. Like, I get through a lot of fragrance, and the good thing is, of course, that I got through more fragrances that I bought, which means my fragrance numbers are going down and not up, which is what I want. So tell me, which fragrances did you purchase this year? Were all your purchases, or maybe something you received as a gift, were they all successes or were there fails? Tell me which ones were successes and which ones were fails, as I did with mine. That's it for today. See you guys later. Have a wonderful day. Good luck. Maybe circle around your fragrances for a while before you purchase them. That would be, I guess, the moral of this story today.